recording. Try one more time.
Mm.
Good evening and welcome to Gator's Garage, the home of all things science fiction and historical gaming in and around the great city of Savannah, Georgia. And I'm your host, Mike Baker the Gator, and we have with us our friend Randy, and this is the Mike and Randy Show. Say hi to the folks, Randy.
Say hi to the folks, Randy.
Nice. So, as the header says, we're going to talk about why you want to play the new armies of the Soviet Union, and play the. If you're not playing the Soviet Union, why you should already be playing the Soviet Union, because it's pretty darned awesome. So there you go. So first of all, let me bring that up here. Why you should be playing, why you should play Soviets in bolt action. And I have not done much with Soviet troops since probably version 1. Honestly, when I first got into bolt action, Randy, I had a bunch of 172nd scale troops, and my 172nd was all Eastern Front. So I did Soviets and Germans, and always liked that free squad. Thought that was fun. Of course, in version 2, all the freebies went out the door. And instead, we got things like, I don't know, split British Army books because they're wonderful. So for the Russians, man, look at this here. And have you ever played with a Russian force?
Yeah, actually, I did one game. I had bought. I think I got it at Recon one year. Somebody was selling 1,000 points of Russians.
Oh wow!
And I got a pretty smoking deal, and I think it was like $125 for. And it's all painted, ready to go in snow. I mean, they were cool. There was a few broken rifles, but other than that, and I was going to keep it. And then I got to thinking, well, that means if I'm going to do this, I'm going to have to buy a bunch more models, because there was some things I liked, some things I didn't like in it. And I'm like, I'm not ready to do that. Kind of wish I'd have hung on to them, because honestly, I actually made a statement a while back on a post that if I played Russians, I don't think I could be beat. I mean,
really?
they've got some just awesome rule. I mean, they're
yeah. We're gonna talk about that. And honestly, historically, I mean, the Russian army was darned resilient, and that's one of the things for the motherland. Inexperienced units can still move when they're pinned. Morale edge, you can re-roll failed morale tests if failure would destroy the unit. And, of course, historical resilience. I mean, the Russians just kept coming. Almost any other country, after taking that pounding, would have just probably folded. Although there is some running discussion if the Soviets would have been able to continue fighting if the Germans had actually taken Moscow. I think they would have. There was a time when taking the national capital meant something. I don't know. And hey, if you got a comment about that, throw it in the comment section below. Would love to hear your thoughts.
I think overrunning your industrial base is probably far more damaging than taking a capital.
Well, and that's the other thing I was thinking is Moscow, and I think even to this day is still a major rail hub. And had the Germans taken Moscow, the Soviets may not have been able to relocate their industry on the other side of the Ural Mountains, where they were pretty much invulnerable to German bombing. And that made a huge difference in the Soviets being able to come back after 41. But the Soviet army is not just it's not just piles and piles of riflemen. You can create elite units or mixed formations. The starter set, both the current one and the new infantry set, offers LMGs, SMGs, snipers. Just about everything you could want in a force. Then the third edition army building rules, as we're going to see, make the Soviets even more of a force to be reckoned with. By the way, part of the new rollout of the army book is the much feared Katyusha rocket launcher coming out in plastic, and you can bet that Soviet players will be taking full advantage of that bad boy.
Yeah. They got a bit of a nerf just because they're stationary firing platform.
Yeah.
But I always thought that was a little bit overpowering to allow a multi-rocket launcher to be able to move out from behind woods and then shoot at you.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not familiar. So can they move or shoot? Is that the deal?
Yeah, so they can't make it. They can't have an advance order and shoot. So
Oh, that
basically, they got to be stationary. But it
that
still is mobile. I mean,
right,
if you're not
right,
in a good firing position, you can move to another spot.
right. They used to allow them to move and fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that
I
was
mean, that
pretty
was
damn
common.
broken.
The guys would hide them behind the woods where you couldn't see them, and then after you move, then all of a sudden they just wheel out from behind the woods and try to hit 6 or 7 units.
Say hello to Uncle Joe, because that's what they call
Imagine.
the Katyusha, Stalin's organ.
So the one of the guys that won Warzone one year, he had 4 Katyushas.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
Well, even with them being required to be stationary and fire, 4 Katyushas is a lot.
that's a lot. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
fact that they can move, well, they're wheeled. They can't go through rough ground, but other than that, they can go 12, 24. They can get away from you in a hurry and open the firing distance. So yeah, that's going to be trouble. Like it,
Uh,
like it.
yeah.
There we go. So what are they good for? All the infantry stuff, and that's the thing. And if you look at the kit, of course, these snipers are a little bit dressed up, literally. But most of the Soviet kit is very easy to paint. It's one of the things I really enjoyed about doing Russian troops. And you bend my arm a little bit, I might put together some Russian infantry just for fun. Of course, if you do a Russian army in bolt action, then I got to add in armor, and it's got to be that T-34 because I got to have it. But
Well, I mean, they're okay, but there's some like the Su-76. There's some just flat out awesome armor choices, plus all the Lend-Lease stuff that they get a hold of.
right,
That's one
right.
of the things that makes them so strong. I'm surprised more people don't play Russians.
And that's a really good point about playing Russians too. If you're already playing Americans or British, and you want to play Russians, quite often you can just add the infantry, and your armor will just about pretty much transport over.
Yeah,
Almost, I mean, a lot of the Western armor ended up in Russian livery. Lee's and Grant's saw service on the East Front. The 2 new kits. Of course, the Sherman was over there. The Churchill, the Soviets ended up with some Churchills.
yeah.
So,
They
there's
get
some really,
tools. They get about everything.
yeah,
Pretty much all the American armor. They even get the M16, which they call it the M17, which is
right.
four heavy machine guns on an armored
Oh, giving
platform.
up, giving a whole new meaning to the term "get to the chopper" before it
Yeah,
chopper you.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So the only downside of that is something we'll talk about later with the Russian
All right.
rules.
Okay. All right. Keep watching, folks. There's more coming. So they thrive in attrition and defensive play styles because they can put a lot of guys on the table. And they like players that love the whole gritty narrative battle. But also pause for a minute, and this is something I noticed it in my 172nd kit, and you find it in just about all the kits. Much was made, and it was very true. A lot of women served in the Soviet Army, especially as snipers, communication specialists, medics. Again, if you're looking to build an army that looks a little different, you can add some of these Russian ladies in there and just have something that looks different and kind of give a nod to just how deep the Soviet populace was committed to fighting this war. It's pretty
Yeah.
darn cool. So summary of why you want to be playing Soviets: they're good morale troops. They really have a flexible army construction, probably more flexible than they were in real life. I don't know. I know by 44, 45, the Russians had an army that could go toe to toe with just about anybody. Uh, Narrative and theme rich. I mean, all kinds of authentic figures you can put in, all kinds of teams. And then, of course, with the 3rd edition coming out, got new rules coming out, got new minis coming out. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Um, so they've kept some rules and got rid of some others. First of all, lack of radios from the core rulebook is going to stay. Kind of a cool thing. You can have a command tank, but the range is only 6 inches, which, Randy, I think that's still pretty generous considering that they're communication by means of flags and hand signals.
Yeah, I
Private,
mean,
go over here.
yeah. So honestly, I don't see this as affecting them at all. The 10 points discount is great.
Yep.
Um, honestly, if you're going to snap two, you're probably doing it with an officer, not the other tank.
Okay.
You know.
Because again, while armor leaders can't command infantry, infantry leaders can command armor.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I'd take this in a heartbeat. Yeah, I like it.
Save those 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are just, that's one thing I've got to give a tip of the headphones here. You are just like, you make all your points scream. You squeeze them so
Yeah.
hard. So the next one, of course, For the Motherland.
Yeah.
So any inexperienced unit that has one or more pin, they can attempt to lose a marker if there's any enemy units within 12 inches immediately before an order is given.
Yeah.
And so if they pass it, they lose that pin marker. On a 1, 2, or 3, they fail it. Then they have to take then they take the test actually with the pin markers it has. So it's not bad. Nice way to get rid of that one pin marker, because on a 4, 5, or 6 you lose the one pin marker, and either way you're not testing to go down the first time. You're testing if you retain the pin marker. So it's not
This
bad.
is a lot of like British vengeance rule that they used to have until they took all those away.
Took all the British good stuff away. And a lot of us, and I know we will continue to kind of dissect. And I think you were saying you may be doing a broadcast just kind of dissecting that British book from a British player standpoint. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of us used to feel that the British were maybe a little overpowered because it was a British game. But I'll be the first to say, it seems like, especially right now, they've really dialed back on what the British can do, and it's going to be a lot tougher.
So it's like all the other factions have gotten good rules, and then the British got really cut back. And I wonder if it isn't, they got tired of hearing, oh, well, it's a British company, and of course they made all the rules for the British people, the best. And they said, okay, well, we're going to show you.
Right. Well, the other thing.
You froze up, Mike. Yeah, so we lost Mike there for a minute. I'm guessing he'll be back in a second. And I won't be able to change the slide, but ding, ding, ding. And the
By the way, folks, pardon for the interruption there. We lost signal. Randy, I don't think you noticed that, but our signal dropped.
Well, I saw you freeze up, and so I was just kind of rolling along, but maybe that didn't get covered in the recording.
Take that again from the top, would you?
So no, I was just trying to do a little fill in. So looking at this, there's like several of these special rules for the Russians. As we go along, you'll see that are, and most of them are pretty good.
Right.
Whereas the British, they have one, and it's a close combat, and of course they're going to take away the best close combat unit in the list.
sorry for the grousing about the British, guys, but it's a sore spot with Randy and with me a little bit, because I play the British. I like playing the British in North Africa.
Yeah.
And Randy will tell you, Mike's style of play is not about get up close and personal. My style of play is about let me lay back and bring fire down, and losing that extra die for every 3 men with the British, if I'm running armies of Great Britain, is, to quote the British, pretty damned inconvenient.
that was your calling card, Mike. Every time you brought a British list, they got rapid fire.
Oh, yeah, because it just totally suited how I like to play. So, but we're talking about the Soviets, and so far, a lot of the Soviet rules look really solid. Got to talk about the I2LM.
This one is the eye opener right here.
Yeah. It was the Russians actually pioneered tank busting, It was a darn fine ground support plane. And then once they strapped, I think they used 37s, pair of 37s under the wing. And man,
So I call this Mayoga.
yeah, Mayoga.
Mayoga, make air observers great again.
That's right. I saw that. I saw that in the chat. Yeah. And so why are we going to make the air observers great again?
Yeah. So it basically now it takes 5 hits instead of 3 to bring the plane down. Which
Right.
5 hits is tough to get. It really is. Unless you bring a lot of flak.
Yeah.
So more than likely, your plane's gonna come in,
Right.
and if somebody decides to spam them out, well, you're gonna have a big problem, especially if you don't have a lot of flak.
Right. And it's. I tell you, I'm really hoping to come out with a much better, or even come out with a Eastern Front set.
So the other thing too, Mike, here is the 4, 5, and 6. You get a ground attack aircraft.
Yep.
Which I mean, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a ground attack aircraft. I don't know what the other 1, 2, and 3 are.
Well, let me take a quick look. See, that would have been a good question to think about during pre-up. But some in the early days of wargaming, the 2 big tactical games that kind of cut everybody's teeth on tactical wargaming on the board game side, Panzer Blitz and Squad Leader. Hey, there it is, right? Really dug in hard on the Eastern Front because there was I mean, a lot of your bigger battles, that's where they were shot, and that's where they were fought. And they were incredible. And I'm just looking to see.
Holy crap. Okay, so the ground attack aircraft, the unit takes a hit of an indirect fire from a heavy howitzer.
Right.
So before you only had a 5 or 6 chance. Now you've got 4 or 5, so you got a 50% chance of it being a ground attacker. So getting hit by a heavy howitzer is going to ruin any unit's day.
Yes. Yeah.
Tanks, infantry.
Yeah. Where are you finding the rules for the?
It's in headquarters.
Okay.
Right after the air observer or artillery observer.
Forward air observers. Okay.
Let me find the page for you.
I got it. I found
you got it.
Yeah. Well, on a 1 you get a rookie pilot, which always sucks.
Yeah.
That's rolling the actual strike, and then here's the warplane type. So
the way you mitigate that, because they made some changes to the planes now, is you just have to make sure that you don't have a friendly unit within 12 of the target. So if it becomes a rookie pilot, then you just pick another enemy unit.
Right. And that's actually pretty accurate. I like that.
Yeah.
And then the warplane type. So I guess on a 1 or a 2, it's a strafing fighter. On a 3, it's a fighter bomber. And on a 4, 5, or 6, it's a ground attack aircraft. Okay.
Yep.
And none of these, I mean, all of these will ruin your day. But the ground attack aircraft it'll absolutely ruin your day. Wow.
So the only caveat here is that the only time you get the 5 hits plane is if it's a ground attack. So on a 4, 5, or 6. If you roll a 1, 2, or 3 plane, then it's going to be three hits to bring it down.
Yeah. So, and that represents.
Like I say, if I was playing Russians, I'd bring 2, maybe 3 air observers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the only, eventually somebody's going to catch on to this and they'll start bringing like tons of flak. But you wouldn't want to have an M17 in your army and try to bring in planes.
Right. Well, and that's the thing about flak. And it was true, quote unquote, in the real world too. Flak is not only good against enemy aircraft, but it's darn good against light armor and enemy infantry. So,
Yep.
It's vulnerable to heavy armor. It's vulnerable to bazookas and Panzerschrecks and Panzerfaust. But they, in the case of the last two, they've got to get through a hail of fire to get to you.
Yeah.
And if it's a light armor or a half track, well, that flak's going to tear it up. So yeah, it's probably just a good practice to include a flak type vehicle, at least one type flak type vehicle, if not two, in your armor list if you can swing it.
Yeah.
So flying tanks. That's all stuff that's carrying forward from the original from the current book. And then we've got massed batteries, everybody's favorite. So instead of you roll 2 dice for fire for effect, so it's D6 plus 6. You roll 2 dice, and then you get to take the highest one. So if you're like me and you tend to roll like a 1 and a 6, well, guess what we're taking? We're going to take the 6. So I'm liking these guys already. I always like to roll more dice to have a better chance to get something right. What do you think?
This is a little meh, but it's still fairly decent because it's the radio. You're more likely to catch more units with the Russians under this template. So, which is what you want, because you want to have more chances to roll that 6 for a direct hit.
You bet. More shots on target. So this one's really fun. The Commissars.
Yeah.
No, surprisingly, they don't confer a morale bonus. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about Russian troops being resilient. This is one of the reasons they're so resilient. They're not going anywhere because they're going to shoot you in the back.
Yeah, there's a quote that's attributed to, I think, Nikita Khrushchev, who helped stiffen the resolve at Stalingrad. He showed up at Stalingrad and actually, according to Enemy at the Gates, had a Russian general shot because his troops didn't hold the line. Never mind that all his troops got killed. They still shot the general. But Khrushchev said it took a brave man to be a coward in the Soviet army. You think?
What I think is funny here, Mike, is at the bottom, it says if a unit has initial size of or has been reduced to 1 or 2 models, this rule does not apply. So he's not going to shoot the last guy in the squad.
Well, that helps, and he's not going to shoot your ATR team, or he will shoot one member of your medium machine gun team, though.
Yeah. Well, and also, so he's not going to shoot if you have 2 models and shoot one and force a morale check.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Then somebody might be shooting him. Wow. So, and by the way, folks, the new rules here are on the Warlord game site under the new drop. It was what do they call it? Armies of the Soviet Union, 3rd edition, Army Special Rules. So that's kind of what we're digging into now. The World War II is still called by this in Russia, the Great Patriotic War, and I think it was the first time that the Russian people and Soviet people fought as a unified front against an invader. Although, in light of not to be political at all, but in light of the current situation in Ukraine, interestingly enough, many Ukrainians did go over to the Axis initially until they saw what scuzzballs the Germans were. But by and large, this was everybody. If you were Russian, you were doing something. And then, again, you play any war game, you read any of the histories, and the Russians just took horrific casualties and just kept coming.
This is another really great rule, because taking that test the second time means you're more likely to pass it. And then think about getting hit by a flamethrower. That means you get 2 chances to pass an order test after you get hit by a flamethrower.
Okay.
Kind of nerfs the flamethrower slightly.
Yeah. And why so? Because the flamethrower, I know, gives you what, D6 spins, right?
So it'll give you D3 plus 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're going
to potential of up to 4 pins. But if you keep an officer nearby, even just a regular officer with a +2 bonus, if you have 4 pins, you're at -2. So say a regular unit down to 7, you got 2 chances to roll 7 on 2 dice. So not too bad.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. And again, these are free. These are not things you have to pay for, which is, well, the
No.
commissar you do have to pay for is 15 points. I think I like this rule better than the commissar rule. I don't
Yeah.
like anything that makes me lose troops.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if you take a pin from that.
you know, that's a really good question. I'm assuming not, but not the first time.
I've seen guys use the commissar though against green troops,
Right.
and when he shoots the guy, then they get to roll an upgrade
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
casualty.
Huh.
Yeah.
The rule didn't say he put a pin on,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna assume not. But that's a good question to ask, Randy. If hey, anybody again, folks, if you got any thoughts on any of this, feel free to chime in the chat. Randy and I aren't perfect; we're just forgiven. And Soviets are certainly not armies either. Either of us play much. We may have to rectify that, Mr. Randy. Maybe split a Russian
Yeah.
army box or something.
I
So,
tried to bring my Russian army back, but the guy won't cut loose with it.
is he at least playing the game?
Not a lot, but I'm going to try to get a game maybe next weekend with him.
Fantastic.
I like going there because he's got this local barbecue joint that has pulled pork that is off the chain.
Yum.
I mean, it will make your tongue slap the roof of your mouth. It's good. It's
Tongue
really
slap your hands trying to get to it.
good.
I love it. Fantastic. And if you decide you need to rebuild a Russian army, I happen to know a guy that can help you with that. I know a guy.
Yeah, I've actually spoke to Mike a bit about commission painting some Russians if I decide to get into them.
Yeah. Gabby and I have actually been working on putting our commission service back online. Will not do another epic scale army though. Just no. No. A box, sure. An army, yeah, no, not going to happen. So, a box of Soviets or even an army box of bolt action is well within our capabilities and focus. But those big epic boxes are they're a little much. All right, so that's all the new rules. Little talk about units, and they really didn't say a lot in the press release. And Randy and I were kind of scratching our heads. I guess what they're saying here is, and it was the same in the other two army books, Randy. If you want to field an NKVD unit, which the NKVD did have, I don't know exactly how large a units they had. Again, if somebody wants to chime in, I think they had some brigades. I don't think they got above the brigade level. But to basically, if you want your force to be NKVD, all the units have to be upgraded to fanatics, and that's 2 points a model. That's everything. Your machine gunners, your NSA gunners, your artillery guys. Okay.
Yeah, because if you look at a British SAS fanatics, they're 17 points, so they are 4 points over veteran.
Got it. Okay.
My biggest thing here is NKVD. I'm wondering if the engineers are going to be allowed this, because if so, you can take body armored Soviets. You don't have to give them flamethrowers. You can just take them as engineers. They can be body armor and fanatics. So they're 6 to kill and they're fanatics. That would be a very tough squad to deal with.
You would have to probably if you did that, you'd probably have to take that engineer unit as part of an NKVD platoon and force, and so you'd have to upgrade the whole force to get that benefit. Oh no! So you're fielding maybe fewer troops, but they're a lot harder to break. And as we know in the new what's now it's not so new, but the new version 3, it's all about the pins and it's all about the breaking the enemy units. Naval Brigade, again, if you're going to field the Naval Brigade, and I'm still kicking around if I do Soviets, I may do a naval unit. That would be fun. They wear their black sailors uniforms, and they may have the standard sailor hat, or they may have, quite often they'll have the Russian helmet.
Yeah.
But you've got to upgrade them all to tough fighters. And quite often, these are also units full of submachine gunners, because sailors aren't taught to shoot. But from what I understand, I forget what ship in Stalingrad they pulled the crew off of and sent them into the front lines. But these guys fought like dogs. I mean, they weren't having none of letting the Germans take Stalingrad. They were like, oh no.
Yeah.
So, and then Russian airborne.
Yeah. I don't know that they were very known for dropping from the sky, but being able to be stubborn has a quality, for
Yes.
1 point. That's really great, especially if you're facing a meta of where people bring flamethrowers. Stubborn's great. I mean,
I'll see your
think about
flamethrower.
that, Mike. Stubborn.
Yeah.
It means they go pin markers when hit by a flamethrower. So
Wow.
D3+1 doesn't matter. They're also Russian, so they're going to re-roll it. So you're talking veteran troops ignoring pins, re-rolling an order test. The flamethrowers just don't matter.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. I'm looking something up real quick. I just want to see what I know. If my favorite tactical game, Squad Leaders, any version, any guide, a lot of your Russian operations were at the company and brigade level. There's a really great scenario in Squad Leader that would actually translate phenomenally as a bolt action scenario. You got a German recon unit, company of infantry. I think 3 half tracks. So the infantry is mostly on foot, but they're going in to clear out a village to keep it from being a partisan. Well, they were just going to clear out the village. Well, they didn't know it, but the Russians and the partisans and cavalry were doing a resupply operation, and that village was the contact point. So the Germans find themselves in this wild fight with paratroopers and Russian cavalry, and then just to make things fun, a company of Russian paratroops jumped in, and there's this wild. It's called a winter melee. There's no winter rules in effect, but it's a great 4-player game, and it would be a great 4-player bolt action game if you wanted to, because you could have, a couple squads of paratroops, a couple squads of partisans with a command unit, and then a couple squads of cavalry, and then you got this German player that's just trying to hang on by the skin of his teeth. I may have to write that one up. That would be fun.
Yeah.
They did some. It doesn't look like any divisional level. Not a lot of divisional level drops. They tried one at the Dnieper in 43, but that one had bad coordination, bad weather, just wasn't really good. They dropped behind German lines, what we described here. They dropped and scattered, and then they linked up with partisans. And that was the thing often, too, that you didn't find a lot on the Western Front just because of timing. Western paratroopers, U.S. and British, didn't often have to melt into the terrain like the Russian paratroopers would have had to. Night raids, demolition missions, and, of course, ambushes. And then often coordinated with partisan warfare. So there you go. And, of course, used as elite infantry, which is a lot of what we would have done. Well, a lot of what we would do. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So that's your Soviet infantry. What's not to love about them? And airborne. I mean, everybody loves airborne. And, stubborn's always good, and they're going to be veterans. So stubborn veterans, yeah. Good luck trying to break those guys. You're going to have to kill them. And they're hard to kill.
Yeah.
So, man, that's pretty cool. Finally, why play the Soviets? Good morale resilience, as you've seen. You've heard me and Randy talking. Flexible army. And very, very narrative and theme rich. And then, of course, new rules with 3rd edition. Now, Randy, we were talking about some of the Western Front tanks, but you were bragging on some of the Russian homegrown stuff, too. You mentioned the Su-76.
Yeah.
A good TD, mostly open top, but I think heavy, either medium or heavy. I think a medium anti-tank gun, but mobile.
I want to say that's the one that has the multi-purpose gun. It's a It's a light howitzer, and it's also a medium anti-tank gun.
Sounds right.
And it's like 120 points. It's just insanely cheap.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's 8 armor.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we talk, if you want to transition and play Soviets with Lend-Lease, that's absolutely awesome. I think if I were to do a Soviet force, though, bro, I'd have to have the T-34s. Just saying, because nothing says Russian like a T-34.
Yeah,
except maybe an IS-2, but God, that's a point sink.
A KV-2 is a good tank.
KV-2 says Russian.
Yeah.
Heavy howitzer, super heavy armor.
Yeah. I think it's armored all around. I'm not sure, but
yes,
it's really tough.
Yeah, it's a monster.
Slow. It is slow, which is a detriment, but hey.
Yeah, most games will rate both the KV and KV-2 as slow tanks, but especially in the time frame that they were introduced, again, a lot of the propaganda that came out during and after World War II really, in some ways, I think overplayed how effective German armor was. German armor, when well employed, was effective. But if, those times when it literally was forced to go head to head with Allied armor, especially French and Russian, they suffered, and they suffered a lot. So, yeah, play the Soviets. You'll have a lot of fun. You can get them on the table easy. Not a lot of camo involved.
Yeah.
Tan uniform.
Another reason to play the Soviets.
Yeah.
Dog mines.
Well, I got some of those out in the backyard right now.
Watch your step when the dog mines are down, right?
That's right. But yeah, I've not had to play against dog mines, and interestingly enough,
I've never played. Oh my God, you don't know what you're missing, Mike.
I've heard the stories.
It will drive you crazy, especially when they spam them out, where they got you can get like 3 squads and each have like 2 or 3 handlers, and they just got dogs running everywhere.
Gosh, got to wipe all that poo off your tracks. Yeah, I hear you. Wow, that's crazy time. Okay, very good. All right, well, there you go, folks. Initial impressions of the Army of Soviet Union. Looks like I think this is going to be a good book for the Soviets, and there's everything right with that. Soviet forces they've been solid in bolt action, and any good World War II game should show them as what they were, and that was a darn solid force that took a pounding and kept coming. And, if you're looking to expand your collection, you could do worse than add the Soviets for something different. I tend to play right now British and Americans. Looked at Soviets, looked at, who else have I looked at? I looked at Hungarians a little bit too. But Soviets definitely would have a different play and a different flavor. And quite honestly, for tournament play, for me, I hate to see blue on blue. I know what happens. It's fine. But there's just no reason why the Soviets shouldn't be fighting anybody in World War II, because at some point, other than the Americans and British, and that was only by the narrowest of margins, they fought everybody.
I tell you, the worst blue on blue experience I ever have is, and I think it's happened twice, is when I played another Gurkha army.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it was horrible. Your close combat's gone. You can't charge them. You just can't do it.
Wow. Yeah, there you
Matter
go.
of fact, to illustrate that, I played, I think it was Recon last year, first round. I ended up winning the game, but I played a guy that had some Gurkhas, and I had shot some of them up. He runs into a building, and I think it was still version 2, but he has like 5 guys left. And I'm in the building next to him. I have behind the building, with one guy peeking out, I have an 8-man squad of Gurkhas. Inside the building, I have a 10-man squad of Gurkhas. So first off, I assault him with a 10-man squad, and I killed 1 guy, and he killed 2, and I lost that combat. So they're gone. And then the next dice I get, I charge him with the 8-man squad. I kill nobody. He kills one guy, and I lose that squad. So I lost 18 Gurkhas in the span of a minute or two, and he loses one guy. And I was like, I had to dig. That was a big hole to dig out of.
I bet.
It was a kill point mission. I think I ended up winning by 2 kill points. It was like 4 or 5 to 2 or 3, something like that. But it was
pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I love it. Wow.
That ultimately cost me the tournament too, because I didn't have enough kill points at the end of round 2 to play on the top table.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, man, that's huge. So there you go. See, you should have been playing Soviets. Just saying. There you go.
I'll tell you, reading this over, it's making me itch now. I'm thinking Soviet. Better red than dead.
Better red than dead. Uncle Joe is the way to go. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, all right. Well, I think we've dissected this all pretty good, both the overall Soviet army as well as what's coming in version 3. Keep tuning in next week. I'm sure if Warlord has another drop, we'll dissect this some more. Again, if you give us some comments, we'd be more than happy to answer them on the show. So if you got something you want us to cover, leave a comment in the section below, and we will do our best to accommodate. There you go. As always, click like, click share. Randy, show them how to click like. What tool do they use for that? The mouse. Where's that mouse usually? See, I got the funky mouse.
You know what you got to do, Mike. You're going to have to get what do you call it? AI little mouse, like maybe get a little mouse to run across the screen or something.
That is not a bad idea at all. So click like, click share, share us with your friends, share us with your enemies. Just share us. That helps the show grow. By the way, and I should have opened up with this. I should have made a slide for this. We topped 300 people.
Wow.
So, yeah, look at us grow. There we go. Awesome. So keep that coming. And then the other thing is best way to support the show is buy some merch from the store, Gator Games and Books. We are doing pre-orders on all the new Soviet stuff. If you don't see it on the store, ask me about it. I can always get it from Warlord one way or the other. And then, of course, Thirsty Work.
Yeah.
You see me and Randy both had to grab a little bit of a drink here. I promise this is green tea, not beer. There you go. And $5 on Patreon, get you access to Patreon. We're going to upload this slideshow there. So if you want to actually have a copy of the slideshow, it'll be on the Patreon. We're uploading all our pictures there. Feel free to use them if you're a Patreon. You can grab them and use them for your promotional. We're putting, if we run a tournament, we're going to put the army lists up there. So that's always good ways to all the extra kind of value we're trying to provide for our Patreon folks. $5 a month. You know, we spend more than that on coffee during a given day. So there you go. Thank you so much. If you stayed with us, thank you for your time. Thanks for your support of the channel. We couldn't do it without you. And I think that's it from the Gators Garage tonight. Mr. Randy, anything for the folks?
No, just it's a shame, Mike, that we are almost 3 hours apart, because I could see us having battle reports once every week or so on this channel.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It really would. I don't know. I think you just need to move to Savannah and get you a job here.
Well, actually, I have a job there, but the golf course that I used to work at, he's been begging me to come back, but Joyce doesn't have a job there, so
yeah. Well, the job you got now has got good benefits too. So
oh yeah, it would be tough to leave with the OT. So
yeah, there you go. So there you go, folks. Yeah. So that got anything else? Just feel free to ask in the comment section, or shoot an email to Gator Games and Books. You can find our link in the comments below. And y'all have a good night.
Good night, everybody.